One of the most moving passages of your biography is when you write of Indian Muslims who stayed on in India but didn't go to Pakistan. You say they are abandoned, you say they are bereft of a sense of real kinship, not one in their entirety with the rest, and then you add, this robs them of the essence of psychological security.
That's right, it does. That lies at the root. Every kind of activity that we say lies at the root of such a committee report.
So in fact, Indian Muslims have paid the price in their personal lives.
Without doubt, it is that. Look into the eyes of the Muslims that live in India. And if you truly see through the pain that they live, to which land do they belong? We treat them as aliens, somewhere, inside. Because we continue to ask, even after Pakistan, you still want something?
In fact, even the adjectives you use to characterize their leadership in the early years suggests a sort of, how shall I put it, slight tilt in Jinnah's favor. You say of Gandhi's leadership that it had an entirely religious provincial character. Of Jinnah's, you say, he was doubtless imbued by a non-sectarian nationalistic zeal.
He was non-sectarian. Gandhi used religion as a personal expression. Jinnah used religion as a tool to create something, but that came later. For Gandhi, religion was an integral part of his politics from the very beginning.
And Jinnah wanted religion out of politics at all times.
That's right. The innumerable examples.
And in fact, Jinnah sensed or feared instinctively that if politics came into religion, it would divide.
There were two fears here. His one fear was that if the whole question or practice of mass movement was introduced into India, then the minority in India would be threatened, and we could have Hindu-Muslim riots as a consequence.
And the second fear?
The second fear was that this will result in bringing in religion into Indian politics.
Which he didn't want.
We didn't want that.
You believe India could face more partitions. You write, in India, having once accepted this principle of reservation, then of partition, how can we now deny it to others, even such Muslims as have had to or chosen to live in India?
Yes, so this whole problem started with the whole 1906 Muslim delegation, 1919, one-third, reservation as a portion. What does such a committee report say? Reserve for the Muslim. What are we doing now? Reserve. I think this reservation for Muslims is a disastrous path. I have myself personally in Parliament heard a member belonging to subscribing to Islam saying we could have third partition too. Now these are the pain, they trouble me. What have we solved?
And in fact, as you say in your book, how can we deny it to others? Having accepted it once, it becomes very difficult intellectually to refuse it again.
So because you have to refuse it.
Even if you contradict yourself.
Of course, my contradicting myself is an intellectual contradiction.
But you've been honest enough to point out that this intellectual contradiction lies today at the very heart of our predicament as a nation.
It is. Unless we find an answer, we won't find an answer to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh relations.
And this continuing contradiction is the legacy of partition.
Of course. It's self-evident.
Your sympathetic understanding of Muslims left behind in India, you say they're abandoned, you say they're bereft, you say they suffer from psychological insecurity. That's not normally a position leaders of the BJP take.
I think the BJP is misunderstood also in its attitude towards the minority.
But you're the first person from the BJP I've ever heard say, look into the eyes of Indian Muslims and see the pain. No one has ever spoken in such sensitive terms of them before.
I am born in a district where that is my home. We adjoined Sindh. I was not part of British India. We have lived with Muslims and Islam for centuries.
Your position is that if people don't like the truth as you see it, so be it, but you have to tell the truth as you know it.
Well, so be it is your way of putting it, my dear Karan. But I must, how do I abandon my search, my yearning, and what I have found? If I'm wrong, then somebody else should go and do the research and prove me as wrong.
But in other words, you are presenting what you believe is the truth.
What else can I?
And you can't hide it.
What else can I do? What else can I present?
The second issue that your book raises, which could cause problems for you, is that at least theoretically, at least intellectually, you accept that there could be, although you hope there won't be, further partitions. Could that embarrass you?
No, I'm cautioning. I'm cautioning India, Indian leadership. I have said that I'm not going to be a politician all my life, or even a member of parliament. But I do say this, we should learn from what we did wrong, but didn't do right, so that we don't repeat the mistakes.
In other words, this is a, how shall I put it, wake-up call.
Wake up, shaking.
Shake-up call.
Yeah.